Now there exists a command line tool called Censys subdomain finder that making use of Censys API key will search for subdomains that exist for a particular domain. So now in this lecture we are going to learn how to make use of that particular Censys subdomain finder. Now to have access to that tool, we come to Google and then we search for this particular tool. So Censys subdomain enumerator GitHub. So we just go to the GitHub and then try to clone that particular tool repository. All right, so I have it from the first link, then I'll click on it and I'll go to GitHub. Now I am on GitHub. Now I will be able to clone the repository. So we have it, Censys subdomain finder. Okay, it performs subdomain enumeration using the certificate transparency logs from Censys. Alright, so to clone this repository, I need to say Python based tool. Okay, so all the details about how to go about installing this tool and how to use this tool is stated in this particular repository. Alright, so I'm going to install this tool. So to install this tool, we have to clone the repository. We copy this, the link, and then we come back to our terminal, to our Cal Linux terminal. Now it is always it is a good practice to install third-party applications. When I say third-party application, I mean applications that doesn't come pre-installed with the Cal Linux. All right, so when we have such tools, OPT is a very good directory for keeping those tools inside. So I have navigated to the OPT directory, and to navigate to the OPT directory is very straightforward. So let me go back to my home directory. Initially I was at home, Faisal. All right, so click enter. Now clear. Now to navigate to the OPT directory, all you have to do cd change directory command, and then the directory you attend to is OPT. Okay, cd OPT. All right, and then sorry, okay, clear. No, okay, so clear. Sorry, cd OPT. All right, then we navigated to that directory. Now we are in that directory. Now this is where is a very good place for you to keep your third-party applications. All right, so all I have to do, I will now clone that particular tool into this repository. So sudo git clone, and then I will write the name of the URL I have copied, and then I'll paste it here. So sudo is a super user do. We have already been using it before, so it is a command that will enable me run root commands over a non-root account. Git clone. Now git clone will now clone the repository using git. Will now clone that the repository that we have seen in the GitHub. All right, so I bet I already have this particular tool inside my OPT, so I will not do it again. I'll bet you go ahead and just press enter. Then the git will clone that particular repository into your OPT directory. All right, so let me clear the terminal. All right, we have it ls. Now after cloning that particular repository, then you navigate to the directory cd Censys.domain finder, and then you navigate into that directory. All right, so we have it here, Censys domain finder. All right, so and then we have the detailed instruction for installing this tool, everything here. Now there's the need for you to install requirementtxt that will ensure that you have all the necessary requirements to run this particular to run this particular tool. Okay, so pip install requirement.txt. Now you just copy this command. You copy the command. After copying the command, you come to your terminal here, and then you can run those commands. All right, then so sudo, and then now you paste the command. Okay, now okay, pip is a tool that for maintaining Python packages. Now install requirement.txt. Now we have the requirement.txt file within our this particular current directory we are in. Now this will install all the required dependencies, so all the modules that this Censys subdomain finder need to get working. All right. So and also this Censys subdomain finder is compatible with what both Python 2 and Python 3. But you might have some little syntax, some little errors while running, but though they will not affect the functionality of the tool with Python 3. So it is more compatible with Python 2. So and Kali Linux still maintain Python 2, so you can just go ahead and install it. But if you want to install it using Python 3, then you make use of pip3. So sudo pip3, but the pip the normal pip is just for Python 2. So you go ahead and run this command. Now this will install all the dependencies that this particular tool needs to get running. All right, so I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. So let me clear my terminal. Now also the next thing that is very important, now you make use of these commands to have your Censys API ID and Censys secret. So just go to your create an account with Censys. I expect you to have done this by now. So once you have Censys secret and Censys API key, now you can export them on that particular current environment that you are in. So you just copy this command, Censys API ID. Then we have the equality operator. Then you paste your Censys API ID, and then also your Censys API secret. You paste it here. So the first command, you run the first command first, export Censys API ID, then followed by your Censys API ID. You paste it, and then the next one is export Censys API secret. Also, you paste your Censys API secret. Okay, so you just paste it and then run these two commands, and then it will set off your Censys API ID and Censys API secret. So I will just pause the video and do it. All right, and then I expect you to also run these two commands to get your to set your Censys API ID and Censys API secret. All right, so after exporting your Censys API ID and Censys API secret to your environment, also while running those export commands, make sure you don't precede it by sudo. Just write export API secret, and then followed by the value of the API secret and the API ID. So do not precede it by sudo. All right. So after doing that, now we can successfully run this. Make use of this tool to find subdomains that are related to our target domain that we wish to find subdomains. Okay, so now all I have to do, I will just come here and enter. If you install those requirements using pip3, then you can use Python 3. Python 3, yeah. So but if you just install using just ordinary pip, which is Python 2 based pip, so we just make use of just write Python, then followed by the name of the tool, which is Censys subdomain finder.py, and then followed by the target domain that you want to find subdomains of. So I want to find all the subdomains that are related to this particular domain, example.com. So I will just press enter. Now we can see that this particular tool has gone and it is searching Censys for subdomains that are related to example.com. All right, and successfully our tool has finished running and it has found all the subdomains that are related to this our example.com domain. Now why are we interested in finding subdomains that are related to a domain during information gathering? Now the reason behind that, because we might find a test domain. For example, our target might have set off a particular domain to test a particular web application, and they have not made the subdomain public. So the subdomain has not been published publicly, but we might be able to find it using this Censys, and then we might include it in our penetration testing exercise to test it for vulnerabilities. Or perhaps they might have created a subdomain and have used it before, and now they have discarded it, forgotten about it, and so perhaps maybe they even install WordPress or similar application within that particular subdomain, and they have totally forgotten about it. So that's the application that I installed there have not been updated. That means they definitely contain a lot of vulnerabilities that as in which during penetration testing exercise, we as pen testers we can use it, explore the vulnerabilities, and gain access to the server. All right, so that is the essence of finding subdomain related to our domain, and then use it and try performing a penetration test on each of the subdomains to see what we can find.